got a bunch of things on my mind, and this may come out as a big jumble, but let's get into it anyway. The first thing I want to talk about is feeling undeserving. Oh, this is a big one. This is something that a lot of people struggle with. So if you're finding that you are continually stuck in a certain area or multiple areas of your life, or you just can't seem to get past a certain set point in your life, whatever it is, oftentimes we carry a lot of subconscious beliefs about being undeserving. And they're all completely unwarranted. They're usually based on crap that we learned from our parents or from our culture, or because we're a woman or because we're a man or whatever it is. But it's some sort of external beliefs that we took on and adopted, and it's running the show. Years ago, I was working with a woman, and she was very, very successful, and she always struggled with her weight and her health. And at one point, I confronted her and I said, is there some part of you that feels like you don't deserve to be at a healthy weight? And she said, oh no, I know I deserve it. And I said, I don't believe you. And I had been working with her for a long time. And so I challenged her because, as I then told her, I said, what you keep telling me is that you don't believe what you're saying. Consciously, we're saying, yes, I feel like I deserve to be at a healthy weight. But underneath that, everything else that you're saying, and if you pay attention to your thoughts are also indicating that you believe the opposite. So you are not going to allow that to happen. If you were raised to believe that you don't deserve someone who respects you, and you learn to disrespect yourself, you were treated like crap, and so what you're going to attract is someone who treats you like shit as well, because that's what you learned. That's how you were treated. You don't know how to look for anything different. You haven't had that modeled for you. And so we tend to gravitate towards what is familiar and comfortable, even though that is also painful. It's sort of, we can't look for what we don't know. So whether it's about your weight, or whether it's about feeling like, well, why can't I attract a good person or my soulmate or whatever it is? And if we were treated like shit growing up, and we date people who treat us like shit, we have to look at ourselves. We have to look at, where am I embodying the belief that I am no good? Where did I look back and say, did I learn to hate myself? Did I learn to take the pain? Did I learn to accept the crumbs and all the crap and the mistreatment and the disrespect and the abuse? Because that's what's running the show. Because if that's what you learned from the time you were single digits, you don't deserve anything, you're no good. And then that's what we go out into life, and then that's what we get. So we have to look back into ourselves and say, and challenge the heck out of that, and understand that that is not true. Those are someone else's beliefs. That's our parents' wounds. That's our parents' stuff. They didn't know any different. And now guess what? It's on you to break the cycle, to take the responsibility, to do the work, and to heal all that stuff that you learned. We can argue, is it fair or not fair that it sucks or whatever? It doesn't matter. What does matter is what you do with it. What matters is what you do now with the cards you were handed. It may be that you were handed a really difficult hand of cards. There's nothing we can do about that except to give you the tools to know that you can change it, that you're not stuck, that you're not damaged, that it doesn't have to always be this way, that you don't have to go through your life hating yourself, that you don't have to keep being unhappy. Unfortunately, everything you learned was to the contrary. But you're not without tools, and you're not without resources, and you're not without choice. It all comes down to choice. This idea that we are undeserving is complete and total nonsense. It's not true. So if we were taught, yes, you're supposed to work hard, and here's a couple bucks. Or you're supposed to give and give and give and give, and here's a whole lot of abuse and gaslighting and invalidation. No, it's not that way. You are deserving. You are worthy just by being who you are. Just by being the beautiful human being you came into this world as. You're not somehow fundamentally flawed. You're not damaged. And therefore, you deserve less. Again, see, when you start to heal, you start to get perspective on the things that you learned, and you start to, instead of just acting it out, you start to see it. You have more consciousness, more awareness that what you learned isn't true. And as you begin to see that, you start to, from when you finally tap into that, and you may have a lot of sadness come up, a lot of anger come up, and a lot of grief, and you let yourself feel that. Let yourself feel that disappointment and the heartache and the sadness that you didn't get what you needed. And that, my God, now you have to take all that on yourself. But for whatever reason, that's the way it turned out. But you have this amazing opportunity in front of you to choose, to create the life that you want. There is so much freedom in taking responsibility. But at some point, when we move through the grief and the sadness and the feelings, at some point we see that, yes, we do have, always, we have that option to take responsibility. And that is what will set you free. When you take responsibility for your feelings, for the conditions of your life, for the shit that you've been through as a child and teenager and into whatever age you are, and whatever you've been through, whether it's from a marriage or a long-term relationship or anything, the choices that you made, when you take responsibility, that will set you free. And usually to do that, it means that we have to face a lot of fear. And we'll face that fear when we're ready, for whatever it is about for you. We'll face those fears in small steps, and when we are ready, the right teacher or video or friend or the right book will come along, or the right thing will come that helps us feel like, hey, I can do this, I can overcome this, and it's not so scary, and it's not so bad, and it doesn't have to be this big terrifying thing. So I found that in my own life, that when I was ready, the resources and the help came along in a way that was just right for what I needed at that time. A lot of the stuff that we learned growing up is completely false, and it dominates our lives. And at some point we have to see it for what it is and see how ridiculous it is, and decide that we want to be happy, and decide that we want to heal, and that we don't want to keep carrying this stuff around. You don't have to. You don't have to keep accepting the crumbs and suffering and struggling, and that's what life is about. It's not. And this is coming from someone who's been through a lot. It is not, you don't have to continue to struggle. It's not your dharma. Oh, I have to struggle. I have to be the martyr. I have to be hurting all the time. It's not true. So challenge, question your stuff. Look at it. Say, why am I feeling this way? Why am I living this way? What is this doing for me? And know that the universe or God or, whatever you call it, wants you to be happy. You came into this life to thrive, to heal, to be happy, to experience joy, to experience abundance. And you don't have to always stay in the pain. We have to go through it. We have to feel it in order to let it go. But you don't have to stay there permanently all the time. The sun is shining above the clouds. So tap into that ray of light within you. It's there. So that was a bit of a ramble and a meander. So I hope that there's something that you got from this video that helped you, that made your day a little bit better. That's why I do this stuff. So thank you for watching, and more to come. Take good care of yourselves, and I'll see you soon.